Have you ever had the feeling that something wasn't quite right in a relationship, but been unable to pinpoint it? Although her words might have been polite, her actions betrayed apathy. Today, using timeless Stoic principles, we're exploring in depth the 4 subtle ways that women show their lack of appreciation for you. If you're willing to transform your romantic life and learn the truth, stay put. Please like and subscribe to this video before we start. I promise you won't want to miss what happens next. The false appearance of deference. I would want to tell you a story of Marcus, who thought he had it all worked out. Marcus was confident, successful, and deeply committed to his partner, Anna. On the surface, everything seemed perfect. But Marcus started to notice small shifts in Anna's behavior. She would abruptly cancel plans, roll her eyes at his suggestions, and spend more time emailing her friends than talking to him. At first, Marcus brushed it off. She is simply busy, he told himself. She's stressed. Although it's not a big deal, was it really? According to the Stoic school of thinking, actions always disclose the truth. As Epictetus once said, don't explain your philosophy. Instead, embody it. Though Anna's actions screamed louder than words, Marcus wasn't listening. Behavior 1. Dismissing your opinions. Have you ever shown your real excitement about something to someone and gotten a lack of attention in return? Think about it. Maybe it was a movie you both couldn't wait to see, a restaurant you wanted to try, or maybe a goal in life that was very important to you. When they gave a reluctant response or just dismissed it, how did it make you feel? Let me tell you about Marcus's love story. Marcus had a hopeless romantic heart, just like the rest of us. He had been seeing Anna for about a year, and at first it was wonderful. They would spend hours discussing their aspirations, prospects, and joys. Marcus felt valued and heard, and he thought they were in agreement. But gradually, a change occurred. Marcus saw that whenever he spoke his plans or ideas, Anna didn't seem to be as interested as she once was. At one point, he spent hours planning a weekend getaway. He researched the best locations, picked out activities he knew Anna would enjoy, and even found the perfect little house where they could relax. He was ecstatic, imagining her delight and surprise. When he finally explained the idea to her, she didn't even look up from her phone. That's nice. Marcus's chest ached somewhat, but he brushed it off. Perhaps he told himself she was just tired. But this was not an isolated incident. Eventually, Marcus saw that Anna often ignored his ideas and recommendations, whether they had to do with choosing a movie, setting up a date, or even something as simple as choosing a restaurant. She simply didn't seem to care. She didn't argue with him. Now pause and reflect. Are you able to relate to Marcus? Have you ever felt that someone you cared about didn't respect your thoughts or opinions? You are not alone if that is the case. In such circumstances, Stoic principles teach us a powerful lesson. Actions speak louder than words. Anna's disdainful attitude was a reflection of her respect or lack thereof for Marcus, and it had nothing to do with the trip or the films. As Marcus Aurelius famously said, "What stands in the way becomes the way." The issue is that having everyone agree with you isn't what respect is all about. It entails listening, identifying, and respecting their point of view. Rejecting someone's ideas is not only frustrating, but it also shows that they may not see you as an equal partner. So, if you were Marcus, how would you respond? Start by asking yourself some difficult questions. When was the last time your partner truly paid attention to you? Do they make you feel as though your thoughts and opinions matter? Most importantly, are you endorsing behavior that you know in your heart is wrong? Now is the moment to consider whether any of this fits your story. Marcus eventually realized that he deserved to be loved by someone who valued his opinions as much as he valued theirs. He stopped making excuses for Anna's lack of interest and started focusing on his own dignity. The primary takeaway from this is that If someone disagrees with your opinions, it's about them, not you. Someone who listens to you, respects your opinions, and makes you feel heard is the person you should be with. Never settle for less. What about you? Have you previously held Marcus's position? Tell me in the space provided for comments below. Stay tuned if you're ready to regain your sense of worth, because there's a lot more to learn. Behavior 2, public disrespect. Have you ever been ready to say something intimate and been interrupted as if your words didn't matter? Imagine a time when someone cut you off in the middle of discussing your dreams, concerns, or even something as simple as your day, shifting the focus to themselves or something they believe to be more significant. Is it not painful? Your voice sounds unimportant. Let me share Daniel's tale with you. Daniel was the kind of man who valued deep conversation. He loved talking about life, sharing his thoughts, and forming meaningful relationships. He thought he had found that connection with Sarah, with whom he had been seeing for a few months. At first, everything seemed perfect. Sarah would listen intently and ask questions, making Daniel feel like the center of the universe. But as time went on, Daniel noticed a pattern. Before he could say anything significant, Sarah would invariably interrupt. One evening, Daniel was discussing with Sarah how his late grandfather had urged him to pursue his dreams. Daniel was ready to share a special childhood experience when Sarah interrupted. "Speaking of grandparents, you won't believe what my grandmother did last week." Daniel paused in surprise, feeling that the experience he was sharing was important. But without even realizing it, Sarah had shifted the focus to herself. At first, Daniel didn't mind, telling himself it wasn't a big deal. But the interruptions continued, and Sarah always found a way to shift the conversation, whether he was talking about his work, his hobbies, or his struggles. Did you ever feel that you were being ignored by a loved one? Whether so, you're not alone. I would like to know whether you have ever been in Daniel's shoes. Essentially, when someone interrupts you, they are saying, "What I have to say is more important than what you're saying." This behavior can eventually erode your sense of connection in the relationship and your self-worth. The issue is that persistently interrupting someone is a sign of rudeness and contempt. Give yourself the gift of learning to listen, Marcus Aurelius once remarked. The Stoics believed that listening and being present had immense power. When someone truly respects you, they provide space for you to talk without feeling pressured to dominate the conversation. If you were constantly interrupted, how would you respond? Set boundaries first. "I'd really like to finish my thought." Or, "Can I share this before we go on?" Should be spoken gently but firmly. If the interruptions persist, think about whether the other person actually values your opinion. Remember that a healthy relationship is built on reciprocal respect. And if someone doesn't offer you a voice, you should ask yourself if they really respect you. Now let's give it to you. Have you ever been interrupted like Daniel? Share your experiences in the comments section below, and listen carefully, because the next habit we'll discuss might help you spot patterns you've been overlooking. Behavior 3, emotional withdrawal. I want to ask you this. Have you ever accomplished something that you were proud of and had the person you loved brush it off or act as if it didn't matter? Whether it was a promotion, completing a challenging task, or even reaching a personal milestone, think about a time when you put your all into something and succeeded. How did it feel when they didn't give you the support you needed? Let me tell you about Arjun. He has goals and actions. He had been working long hours on a project that could make or break his career from early mornings to late nights. His girlfriend, Priya, knew how important this was to him and had seen him skip social gatherings, weekends, and even a couple of their date nights to finish this job. When the time came, Arjun's efforts paid off, and his idea not only worked but also earned him a big award at work. He was excited to tell Priya about it. And when they sat down to dinner that evening, He told her everything he had been working on for months, the challenges he had overcome, and his pride at being recognized for his efforts. But instead of rejoicing with him, Priya only said, "That's good. But isn't that what your work demands of you anyway?" Arjun's heart sank. Although he had anticipated her to be ecstatic and share in his joy, her statements came across as patronizing. He tried to brush it off, telling himself that she probably didn't mean it that way. But as time went on, Arjun noticed a pattern. No matter how big or tiny the success he disclosed, Priya would downplay it. Whether it was finishing a difficult workout or lending a helping hand to a friend in need, she always found a way to make things seem less significant. Now stop and consider it. Have you ever been in Arjun's shoes? Have you ever felt as though someone who should be your staunchest ally was downplaying your achievements? The truth is that, in addition to being difficult, criticizing someone's accomplishments is rude. It gives the impression that hard effort and accomplishment are unimportant. And over time, this could make you lose confidence and question your worth. We learn from the Stoics to value who we are and to not let anyone take it away from us. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Spend no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Become one." When someone consistently downplays your achievements, it's not a reflection of your worth, but rather of their own anxieties. So how do you handle this? Start by keeping your pride intact. You should celebrate your accomplishments even if others don't. Furthermore, remember that you should be with someone who makes you feel good rather than someone who treats you poorly. What about you? Have you ever had an encounter like Arjun's? Watch closely, because what we're about to discuss could put everything into perspective. Tell me in the space provided below. Behavior 4. Testing your boundaries. Have you ever set boundaries in a relationship and had them ignored or disregarded? Whether it was time to yourself, space, or just saying no to something that didn't feel right. Think of a moment when you had the courage to tell someone what you wanted and they pretended it didn't matter. For a moment, consider that Ali and Zara had been together for almost a year. Ali was a giving individual who always tried to lift Zara's spirits. But Zara didn't know that Ali had boundaries, just like everyone else. He placed a high value on some things, like spending Sundays with his family and going to the gym early every morning. His practices helped him stay grounded, balanced, and happy. One weekend, Zara pleaded with Ali to take her shopping rather than his usual Sunday lunch with his family. "Zara, I would really love to spend time with you, but Sundays are important for my family," Ali said politely. "Can we go shopping on another day?" Instead of understanding, Zara got upset, made him feel bad, accused him of not prioritizing her, and continued. Ali grudgingly gave in, but he felt hurt and insulted in his heart. The incident had already happened. Zara often asked him to skip his workouts or put off plans with his friends to satisfy her demands. Now let me ask you this, have you ever been in Ali's shoes? Felt that someone you cared about ignored the boundaries you set to protect your time? Effort or ethics? Setting and respecting. Boundaries is about balancing your own needs with those of others, not about being strict or self-centered. This is what I need to feel safe, happy, and respected, is how they express themselves. And it's not just annoying when someone consistently disregards your boundaries. It may also be a sign that they don't respect you. As Marcus Aurelius once said, you have control over your thoughts, not external circumstances. If someone disregards your boundaries, it's a sign of their inability to value your uniqueness, not a weakness in you. If you recognize this, you will find strength. Stoicism teaches us the value of self-respect. So what can you do? First and foremost, be explicit and courteous about your boundaries. Tell them why you value them. If they respect you, they will attempt to fulfill them. If they continue to disregard your expectations, it may be time to reassess the relationship. The first step to building stronger Healthier relationships in your romantic life is recognizing these hidden patterns. Now think about your own experiences. Have your boundaries ever been crossed in a romantic relationship? How did you feel about it? Stay tuned and share your story in the comments section below. The turning point. The issue is that it wasn't until Marcus started implementing Stoic principles into his daily life, starting to set boundaries and stop defending, and not actions, that he realized these acts were disrespectful. It was difficult but necessary. I value my time and I need to be with someone who values it too, Marcus said tactfully to Anna, after she abruptly canceled their plans for the third consecutive time. Marcus was able to regain his dignity by adopting Stoicism, and everything changed when he stopped pursuing approval and started living by his own values. Why this matters for you. It's time to take stock of your relationship and consider whether you've witnessed the subtle, the powerful indications of disrespect that we covered. Today, pushing your limits, acting disrespectfully in public, ignoring your opinions, and emotionally retreating. Marcus Aurelius famously said, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one. Have enough self-respect to walk away from settings where you are not valued. And remember that this impacts not only relationships, but all facets of your life. When you demand respect, you set the tone for how others will treat you." Conclusion. If you've read this far, congratulations. You're on the verge of making a change in your romantic life. But don't stop there. Click the subscribe button, like this video, and share it with someone you think should see it. Until we cross paths again, thank you for watching.